All right, let's go to Caitlin in Pittsburgh. What's up, Caitlin?
Hey, John.
What's
Hey,
happening?
yeah, I just have a question for you. So,
Well, cool. Bring it on.
I'm just trying to get through the call right now. So,
It's trying to get through the cold.
I'm trying to get through this call without my body taking off on me. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I got you. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, do me a favor, okay?
Yeah.
Take as deep a breath as you possibly can and hold it. All right?
Okay.
Do it real quick. Take it real deep. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Blow it out as hard as you can. Okay? And then your shoulders are up as tight as they can be around your ears. Drop them. Pull your hands down as far as you can to the floor, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Now we're in it. So what's up?
All right, thank you. So, beginning of this year, I started to pursue healing from my own childhood trauma. I'm actually reading this because I knew I had to read it.
You got it. Hey, read it. Read away. That's cool.
With that, I've experienced depression and time where I emotionally, pretty much checked out. The area where I really struggle with is in motherhood.
Okay.
I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom. I fear I've put trauma on them. I take all their behavioral issues or when I feel they're hurting as my fault, like emotionally hurting or when I see they're emotionally struggling. And I find myself sometimes not intervening their squabbles or fights because I feel like I don't know what to do or I'm just too exhausted to follow through. I just want to find my joy in motherhood again.
Okay. When did you feel it leave?
Probably after the second to youngest.
How many do you have?
4.
How old what's the oldest?
8.
And
8, 7, 6, and 1.
Good. Box of bananas. That was me trying not to swear. I don't know where that. Caitlin, that's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Tell me about this latest one. Was the latest one planned or was it hey, look what we have here?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Which one?
The latest. They were all planned, yes.
Okay, all right. So what happened that you suddenly felt the joy of motherhood just leaving you?
I guess I'm not sure. I know after the second to youngest, I did suffer from the postpartum depression.
Okay.
As well as with our youngest. But, yeah.
Are you married?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
He's a great guy. I mean, yeah, I love him. He's a very, very awesome dad to the kids.
Okay. Tell me about your marriage.
That's good. We definitely could improve on connecting with each other better, or what's the word to use? I can't think of the word right now. But
here's what happens often in the situation you're describing, is one person is either struggling or downregulated a little bit or just feeling a little bit heavy. And the other partner steps in and helps and is really wonderful. And it's both life-giving and it's a teeny tiny bit shameful. Like it's like I should be doing that, or how can he or she do that and I just can't do it. And that causes us to pull back a little bit more, and then that person fills in the gap a little bit more, and suddenly we've created a dance that's hard. We end up co-managing our household, but we're not. We're great business partners, but we're not married. See what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's happening. That's what I'm trying to get at. Has your body found yourself surrounded by a whole bunch of people and you are completely alone? That's what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Tell me about this childhood trauma you experienced.
It was sexual abuse.
Okay. How old were you?
Over a period of years.
When did it start?
Around the age of 6 or so.
Okay. who is the evil person in your life?
My dad.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know you know this, but that shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Just this morning, and as I was writing out your question, it came to me about, could it be that I have fear that I'm going to be hurting my kids as well? And I don't know, but that's something that came to my mind this morning as I was writing the question out.
I think any of those things that pop into your mind are worth asking. Um, Without meeting you, this is total conjecture, okay? My guess is, um, or if I had just met you, we just had the conversation we've had, and I was to have place a bet. My bet would be that your body has recognized there's an 8 and a 7 and a 6-year-old in your home, and it recognizes that story, and it'll be damned if it happens again, and it becomes hyper vigilant all the time in protection of those 3 little kids. And you put that level of, I say sympathetic arousal, but you put that level of a brain that is on high alert, high alert. And then you dump a 1-year-old into that. And then you dump, right? And you see what I'm saying? So all of a sudden your body is vacillating between it's at war and then it's got to shut the system down or it's going to crash. And it's just this constant toggle. And it's hard to be in a relationship with that kind of person struggling that way. And it's hard to be in a relationship when you are struggling that way. And then you find yourself more and more isolated, yet more and more busy and more lonely, surrounded by more and more people. And you feel like you're going insane. Am I right or wrong? Tell me where I'm right and tell me where I'm wrong.
No, yeah, that's about how it would be. Yeah.
Okay. So the magic is not the magic. It's not magic at all. The gnarly, gritty healing work is letting your body feel there's a 6-year-old in the house. There's a 7-year-old. There's an 8-year-old in the house. And they're safe because they have me as their mom. And my dad was the worst of the worst of the worst, but their dad is not. My dad was evil. Their dad's safe. And we're going to practice feeling our bodies when it starts to take off on us. And then we're going to practice retaking control of the thoughts that we have. And then we're going to do the really hard work, which is write dad a letter that you're never going to send him and let him know how he hurt you and how that's ricocheted through your life. And you'll write another letter to him, let him know what he's missed. Then you're going to write him another letter that says, hey, by the way, this stopped here. Because I've got 4 beautiful, incredible kids, and I'm a damn good mom. And just to put a cherry on top, I'm a great wife, too. I'm a good friend. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you've got to do the hard stuff, which is you got to take care of yourself. You got to be around people and you got to laugh and you have to exercise and you got to sleep and you got to eat right. And you have to give yourself some grace because you have a freaking 1-year-old in your in your house, right? Which is like just pulling a grenade every morning, just rolling it into the living room and saying, yeah, let's see what explodes today. How does that all sound? Sound like bull crap or does it sound right? Tell me what you're feeling.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it all sounds good. I mean, I've been, working through this journey for the past, beginning of the year is when I started. And, yeah.
I'm going to give you a really awful analogy, but it's the most recent one in my life. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I was on a trip this past weekend with my son and some men that I trust and love and their boys, and we went on this Texas hunting trip. And it's every bit, when you hear the words Texas hunting trip, it was all of it. Okay. And the very first night, the old men, we were sitting on a rocking chair out on the front porch of this metal building in the middle of nowhere, no running water or anything. And the boys are running around with flashlights, being silly. And one of the boys trips on the fire pit and just blasts his shin on it. It explodes. Okay. Whenever we saw him in the light, we took him inside, looked in the light, and the moment I saw it, it's like he's got to go to the hospital right now. And it was a gnarly, gnarly cut. And his dad, I stayed with the boys. His dad took him to the emergency room with another friend of ours. And in the ER, they took that cut and they gave him some medicines that he couldn't feel the pain. But then they had to take out this sandpapery scrub brush and clean the wound. And my buddy said he had to sit down and because he started getting woozy because it was an already violent scene, and it became the healing process. The initial healing was really brutal. Okay. And then that allowed them to do the first layer of stitches and then close it up and then do the top layer of stitches. And within 24 hours, that little boy was running around again. When you're healing from trauma, the initial part of the journey is very empowering. I write these letters. I feel good. Like I feel like I'm taking control. I weep heavily. I call family. I call friends. I have these moments. And then we recognize how deep that wound is and how much it's affected other things. And then starts the grinding process, the real painful part, the part where we wish it hadn't happened. And I can't believe you did this. And then I've made decisions in my life out of pain, out of hiding, out of fear. And I've hurt people and people have hurt me. And you've got to get through that grinding sandpaper process so that the healing can happen in a clean way on the back end. And that feels like where you are. And then you threw a 1-year-old baby in the middle of it all. Right, which is just hard. And then you've got a 6 and 7, 8-year-old that's reminding your body what you've been through before. And so that means this is front and center here. This isn't like you had childhood sexual abuse and you're single and you're 25 and you're spending time with a therapist and spending time in a group and you're spending time with your friends. You are living this out. You are changing the oil on your car while you're driving. It's a very complex task that you've undertaken, and it's right. It's good. It's just going to be hard. And when it's hard and when it's messy and when you don't feel full, like you're at the very tip top, your tank's not full, that's okay. The person who should have taught you that you're okay took everything from you when you were a kid. Right?
Yeah.
And so now you've got to do the hard work of relearning. Wait a minute, man, I do have value. I am worthy of being loved. I am a good mom. You're not going to re-traumatize your kids, hon. You're just not. Unless you abuse them, which you're not going to do.
No.
Letting an 8 and a 6 and a 7-year-old squabble and figure stuff out, that's great. It's great. I get involved in my kids. And every time I do it, I think, gosh, I just need to let them work this out. So you're doing great. I'd love to see you and your husband take a marriage retreat together, just you two, get away for a weekend and recalibrate. Because now you got 4 humans that you're responsible for in addition to yourself. So your needs have shifted, your needs have changed, your life has changed, your sleep is goofed up, your exercise is all goofed, everything's goofed up. And so it's not about trying to get back to what was, it's trying to create something new. And at the same time, you're becoming a different person. You're healing, you're standing, you're going to stand 6 inches taller when this thing's over. Keep working with your counselor. Keep hanging in there. I'm going to send you all the questions for humans cards for kids, and I'm going to send you the questions for humans cards for couples. Here's what often happens when someone's working through a trauma journey and they're in a long-term relationship. They're married with somebody, right? Or they already have kids. The idea of human engagement is what hurt you in the first place. The closest relationship, your dad, that's the violation. And it becomes this awful thing where that's the thing that's going to keep you well is relationships with other people. That's where your body's going to settle in so you can do these other things like eat right, exercise, sleep, and all that. You got to have that foundation of being connected. And that's what hurt you in the first place. And so it's hard to start practicing being in a relationship again. That's what these cards are for. Deck cards, and they're magic, man. So I'm going to send you everything I got with those. So you can do this with your kids. You can do this with your husband. Y'all can get away for a minute. Stay on the journey. Stay on the path. You are doing a great job. Your kids are lucky to have you as their mother. And all of us are benefiting from your bravery. Thank you for telling your story.